Warning, this podcast contains material not suitable for younger audiences, and some material that's not suitable for older audiences. If you're part of any age group, we've found a way to offend you. Run while you still can. We are the hapless heroes.
We sleep in the basement.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hapless Heroes podcast. I'm Francesco, and tonight I will be your host and DM as we take a drop back in on our lovable interns and meet a few new faces. To my left, we have James, and as you know, James has been playing Stenton Crossbreeze.
I am Stenton Crossbreeze.
Fresh new jaw.
That's a nice voice.
We have Mike.
Thank you.
Sorry. We have Mike, and Mike, who are you playing?
Oh, I thought you were going to say it. Okay. I am playing Murph Isla.
Great.
Yeah.
And what is Murph?
He's a wizard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
We have Dave as the
Hi.
Gorgeous Frankie Wilde.
Good evening, darlings.
Are you going to lean back the whole time while you're in character?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
I
push
got
it in,
just a
bring it
bit.
in.
For those of you at home, Dave's got a mean lean going on.
Okay. So we have Massimo, and Massimo is playing Glenn Chubbs Gold Dust.
I bleed the blood of my friends and my foes.
Great.
Great. And John, who are you playing tonight?
I am Basha Ironback.
Great. Bunch of serious motherfuckers over here.
Yep. I'm a monk.
So we decided to drop back in on the interns. We were at a critical part of our story. We didn't want to leave our boy Zach, out of the fun that Dave was about to unleash on all of us. So we decided, fuck it. Let's do an interns episode.
Fuck it.
And in fact, let's do 2 interns episodes.
Hey-o!
So when we last left our interns, the heroes had just left the keep.
Stenton still had his jaw fucked up.
And it was really just Stenton, Frankie, and Spank still. In the days leading up to Felix and Quinn leaving, Spanx was let go. You kept hearing Felix say these words like severance package and, administrative leave, but you're not entirely sure what any of those things mean. But Spanx was let go.
Yeah, I'm dumb as fuck.
But as Felix, was leaving, he did send a letter to Kip to send more interns. And so,
Ask and ye shall receive.
we'll say, go ahead.
Anytime Frankie hears the word severance package, his eyes get a little bit wide and he gets a little defensive of his junk region.
No one severs in my package.
So we're going to kind of open up our scene. It's, we're going to say about mid-morning, almost 11 o'clock in the afternoon, but we're at about 10:30. Most of you, Stenton, you're up. Frankie, you're probably not.
Rockers wake up at the crack of noon.
But
Stenton has walked past Frankie's room. Well, room. Maybe room should go in air quotes. Stenton has walked past Frankie's bunk loudly several times. while he's doing the morning chores.
Right, because if you remember, Felix put you in charge.
Yes, of course.
When he left, because you're the only fucking responsible person in this joint right now. He trusts you.
And now everyone can understand me.
Yeah. So the reason why, so the Omega Project's been hanging out here for a little while. If you recall, there was a shipment sent here to the keep to furnish all of the rooms, but there were some specially labeled items that were going to Zero's lab and to the basement. You were told to essentially, aside from your quarters in the basement, to stay away from the western section of the basement, is that it was classified material and you have not been cleared for the project yet. They will let you know when construction is completed, and we'll fill you in on the details. Okay. So that's all going on. So as you're kind of walking through the house and doing the chores, I mean, there's a few members of some of the Omega Project, like Teamsters, essentially, like going about the house. Like they're you can see them bringing out some like stones and things from the basement, and they're, you know, there's like a lot of sound coming from downstairs. You know, it's definitely not as like thick of a crew as it was when the heroes first arrived. They've since like sent back some of the armed escort, as you know, now that they're in a more secure location, they were able to just to keep some of the finer ones behind. So there are a few like armed personnel from the Omega Project guarding what's downstairs.
Okay.
So at about 10:30, right, there is a knock on the front door.
So being the only responsible member in the household, Stenton will casually make his way to the door. However, I imagine whomever is outside of the door can hear me approaching the door.
Probably have a pretty heavy step.
Right.
Yeah, it's like wooden floors.
Right.
Yeah.
So I imagine that my presence is known.
Yes.
Is there a peephole in the door or some
Yes.
kind of?
There's it's like a little like a slot you can like slide to the left. You know what I mean? You like look out.
Good. It doesn't matter. Stenton's just going to open the door. I just wanted to make it obvious that he doesn't give a fuck what's on the other side of the door.
Got it. And now we've also established that yes, there is a slot in the front door now.
Right.
The
Cool.
gigantic double doors that open up. Okay. So yeah, you open the door, and standing there appear to be three very interesting looking fellows, and two. There's like a wagon that, like kind of parked behind with a couple horses, and there's two armed guards walking up with them. They're bearing the colors and symbol of the city of Erelon, which is where you guys are known as the heroes of the Kingdom of Vesh. It's the capital
We're
of
the
this
interns
kingdom.
of the
Well, yes. Sorry.
ITOHOKOV.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And these representatives, one of them introduces himself to you as Charles, and he says, Baroness Aranastarian told us that you needed some new interns. Is there someone here to sign for these folks?
I am Stenton Crossbreeze. State your purpose.
Stenton, we literally hired you like months ago.
Oh, right.
Is there someone here who can sign for these fellas?
Sign whose name? I can write my name. And then Stenton's just going to take the clipboard out of his hand.
He doesn't give it to you.
I mean, okay. Let's
Competing strength roll. I like
So now one.
Starting off the
it.
night
Best thing I've
right.
ever seen. This is perfect.
That one?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
start this off
He just
strong.
literally just rips it out of your hands before you even get a chance to get a good grip. Like he just pulls it back real fast, and you kind of like stumble forward a little bit, and you kind of bump into him.
Okay.
So you kind of your chests like touch for a moment, and he just kind of. I mean, you're taller than him too.
Yes, I'm
so he's
towering
more.
over
He's
him,
actually
right?
more to like your ab region, right?
It's right in my solar plexus.
Right, and he just kind of like pushes you off, and it says, "Okay, so are one of the heroes home?"
No.
Just at this point is when Frankie bursts out of the basement door wearing a Hugh Hefner style silk smoking jacket
Okay.
over what look like clown pants, bare chested with, a surprising amount of rug on his chest for whatever reason. And he blasts the door open, staggers into the room, damn near trips over Stenton as he crosses by there, sees the piece of paper, pulls a pen out, it just scrawls his name across the entire bottom. You'd be your hero anytime.
And was he signing an autograph?
Yes, he was. John Hancock's it in the biggest, most fluid penmanship there is, and drops this quill on the floor as he just staggers out immediately off to which direction is the kitchen from the front door?
Here's the map.
All right, so he's in the foyer towards the dining hall. So he immediately hooks a right at the door and starts heading back towards the dining hall kitchen area, mumbling something about coffee.
And Stenton literally doesn't move the whole time. The whole time that this is happening, Stenton does not react at all.
He's just a fucking brick just standing there.
Literally just standing there.
And the one, like, Charles does.
So now Charles and Stenton are back to the paper. We're still face to face.
No, he's at this point. Charles has put his head down. He's removed his spectacles.
But the paper is signed.
Yes.
In the comedy world, we call these straight men for the joke.
He's like kind of holding his fingers to the bridge of his nose.
Do you need me?
The other
to
guard.
sign?
The other guard looks starstruck. Because I rolled. I just rolled a wisdom save just against his beauty, and it was not good. So. And he knows Frankie Wilde.
Yeah.
I mean, Frankie Wilde was
legend.
Yeah.
a legend.
Oh, he's a
So
To borrow a line from Jim Butcher, he looked like the high priest of Bowflex walking through.
there we go.
Nice.
So yeah, the guy who's starstruck is just like he just grabs the clipboard and he just like just walks back to the wagon with it, like kind of like holding it up to his face, like just like, oh my god, like we have Frankie Wilde's autograph. And Charles is just like, all right, they're your problem now. And he's like, okay, guys, well, this is where it's time for you to get to work. I guess the big guy will tell you what to do.
Do you have our money?
What are you talking about?
And then he's just going to turn to these three, I'm assuming, that are just standing there staring at him. Right?
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to leave it. He's not...
He's
Okay, so he just walks away.
I mean, yeah, my intelligence is real low, so, like, I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay,
if you
cool.
don't have my money, okay.
Okay.
Someone else does.
Oh, Basha rolls a nat 1 for perception on that.
Yep. So you didn't notice shit. So let's describe the scene now here. You like Frankie has wandered off to the kitchen to get some coffee, and the three of you are now just standing face to face with Stenton. Do you introduce yourselves? Like, what do you do?
So Murph is like beyond excited to be here.
Now Murph is what?
Murph is a halfling wizard.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So what does he look like?
come up
Yeah,
to
what does he
my
look like?
thigh bone?
So so he's in this kind of like gaudy, like I would say somewhere between like yellow and gold, maybe like a mustard colored robe. It goes way beyond him. So he tends to kind of get caught up in it, trip every once in a while here and there, but he always kind of catches himself. He is short. He's about maybe 3'6", but he's standing on his tiptoes, but none of you notice that because of the robe. So he's actually like 3'8" right now, and to him that makes him feel special. So Murph goes right up to and saunters up to Stenton and says, "Oh, it's an honor to be here and to work for the heroes."
I am Stenton Crossbreeze.
I've never heard of you.
We sleep in the basement.
Well, that's sad.
Jesus Christ.
That's the greatest thing. Anywho,
Murph is kind of taken aback by the comment, but
Do you need help with your things?
no. All I have is this robe and this small bag.
He's just gonna. Who's Gorgeous Mort playing? What's your guy's name?
Glenn.
yeah, hold on. So let's look at Glenn.
yeah.
You're gonna look at Glenn?
Yeah, well, so hold on a second.
Chubbs.
What's your name, Murph?
Murph. You also notice that Murph's eyes are slightly crossed.
Of course they are.
No, I don't. Let's see.
No, you don't.
A 7. I don't. I don't notice that your eyes are slightly crossed.
But so you're gonna look at Chubbs?
I'm going to look at Chubbs.
Chubbs? Okay.
No, that's okay. And if he's looking back at
Listen.
me like that,
Chubbs has
I'm
not,
just going to look right on.
No, wait.
Stop.
Like what?
Chubbs has not blinked since this this whole thing has started. I gotten off and I have been wide-eyed, staring, I'm talking, peering into this man's soul, whittling a 4-inch in girth wooden rod to the sharpest point you've ever seen with an 8-inch buck knife,
Actually, that's awesome.
saying nothing.
Sweet. So,
What's he wearing?
A full ghillie suit.
Awesome.
Is this our like? Is this the three of us? Are we also just learning about each other, or have we?
You've
kind of known
probably
about
at least
each other?
met each other on the ride up.
Honestly,
crying.
all you can see are just my
Okay.
the whites of my eyes peering through, like
So,
comically white, wide open, staring right at your face.
okay. So here's how I see this. This is the order that they're standing in, and
Right.
Stenton is kind of like turning around this half circle of new recruits. So we've dealt with Murph. Now as Stenton moves his head around, he just locks eyes with Chubbs, sees him not blinking, and just continue to whittle as they lock eyes. And I'd like to think that Stenton and Chubbs might just exchange a nod.
No, nothing. I'm so
You nodded him.
Statue.
Stenton then nods at Chubbs, like an approving nod, like a what's up nod, welcome to the Thunderdome nod. I'm a barbarian, so I'm glad to have you on my team nod.
Right.
And then he's just gonna move on because Chubbs looks like a man of very few words, and I don't want to crack that egg open yet. Is Chubbs phased by the fact that I just moved right on?
Chubbs
to-
is phased by absolutely nothing. He continues to peer to your ear now that you've
What's
moved
your name?
eyesight.
Basha.
Basha.
So
So now I'm just gonna I'm
you-
just
if
gonna
you're-
turn and look at you.
there is just a 6-foot, slightly thin, like slender, but like there's just a big robe pretty much in front of you. It just looks like one big robe. Like you can't tell where the hands are or anything like that. All you can see is underneath the face part, there are 2 little tusks like barely poking out.
Like out of his
What
top or bottom
you could
jaw.
imagine to be the bottom of the jaw, where a regular jaw would be.
Okay. Do you say anything as I'm just standing there staring at you?
He's patiently waiting to be addressed.
So Murph, having already had this experience, turns back to Stenton.
You
and
might
says,
actually have to come in between us because I'm just still staring at him.
Yeah, you probably don't even see me because I'm literally like, underneath you. Well, not well. Anyway.
All right. So you grab my yes.
So these two gentlemen are of very few words. As far as I know, their names are Glenn and Basha. But that's all I know, and I got that from Charles.
Glenn's my government name.
They've been doing this the entire ride.
Welcome. We sleep in the basement.
Yes, you said that.
Did you
You
want to?
should put your things in the basement.
So Basha will immediately, you'll see him take a drink. There, a small slit appears in the robe, and a hand comes up. And a big, like, gourd-shaped flask comes out. He pops the top off and takes a big swig, pops it back in, and starts picking up. He pretty much only has a brewer's kit and brewer's supplies on him. I mean, he has other things in, like, a rucksack to the left of those two things, but that's mostly what he's moving into the basement. He stops as he's walking in the door, and he says to you, "It is a pleasure to be here with the heroes."
All right, Chubbs hears him say, "Okay, let's get to the basement." He goes full prone and starts crawling, with his forearms down to wherever you're taking us.
I'm not taking you anywhere. Stenton is now had enough of this, and he's moved on to the kitchen.
Okay. Now, I'm going to just say something really quick to the three of you while you're getting your stuff set up. You were told by the city of Erelon, by Baroness Anasterian, or at least like someone who is passing a message down to you from Baroness Anasterian, that the heroes were going to be responsible for your payment.
Correct.
However, Stenton and Frankie, at some point, you were told that, no, this, and in fact, no, Felix kept telling you, no, the city's paying for you to be here.
Hence why Stenton asked the representative from Erelon if he had his money.
Correct.
Right.
So, just let you sit with that sit with that information. You know what I'm saying? Just marinate on that. Now, after some time, Stenton, do you begin like delegating tasks to the interns? Like,
So like weeks go by.
no. I'm not saying weeks go by, but I'm just like, like I'm saying, let me say like over the course of the day, maybe a day and a half or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like, how do you guys get settled in? Like, what do you do to like? 'Cause you're in charge, for better or worse. So I'm just curious, like, how you're running the ship at the house over the next
You
like
mean how I'm running Frankie? How I've been running Frankie since they fired what's his
Spanx?
face? Right.
yeah.
So
So what have you been doing?
Is how a guy who doesn't talk has been managing a fucking rock star. Nothing has gotten done. Fuck, nothing has gotten done. I'm one person doing four people's jobs slowly. And Frankie just is here to eat. I've been seeing him work in like a week.
I have told you I am developing my stage presence.
You keep saying that.
Yes, I do keep saying that, and you keep not comprehending it. Because performance and presence, you wouldn't know them if they smacked you across the face.
Am I in the room for this conversation?
Of
It
course.
depends, are you?
We're in the kitchen. Yeah,
Oh,
we're in the
now
kitchen.
as soon as
Yes, I am in the room for this conversation.
the moment Glenn
Are you
gets
crawling
into
on the
room,
ground still?
Yeah.
I've now reached to a kneel.
Oh, but the moment Glenn enters the kitchen, Frankie stands up a little bit wild-eyed. His arms are out to his sides. He's lurching a little bit Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow-like. I demand to see a horticulturalist. Because either he is going to explain to me why the topiaries from outside have crawled into the kitchen, or he is going to identify whatever it is I smoked last evening.
Chubbs is going to pull out a knife from his boot, slice his right hand,
Your own?
like from like thumb to pinky, and then stick my hand out to shake his hand.
Frankie extends his hand because in the course of a normal tour, he touches much worse. Oh, it's fresh blood. But does pull it back like almost up back over his head after
Like
completing the
Like
handshake.
flourishing at every.
Yes.
I'm like
Yeah.
gushing blood from my hand.
So you spray some blood with your hand.
You know what?
Yes, he
Take-
does.
Take 2 points of piercing damage.
Oh, sure.
He's like totally worth it.
I'm gonna do this a lot, so I'm just
Just inflicting wounds
Is your
on
hand-
himself the entire time just so he can heal.
Is this
because
gonna
he's
be
a
a la It's Always Sunny when Matt kept cutting his hand open? that shit looks infected. Nobody wants to shake your infected hand.
kind of reminiscent of that. That's perfect.
Slicing. Okay.
So, again, I'm going to repeat the question. How are you settling in then?
Well, so now that we're all in the kitchen and they've
You're
all
not settling in.
oh.
Yeah, I would say Bosch is still downstairs.
Well, wait, you're also in the kitchen. I'm sorry. I completely glossed over that.
Well, no, that's okay because he just came in, so I assumed that they had settled and now we were all in the kitchen.
I literally brought nothing with me.
Yeah,
So you just crawled into the kitchen.
Yeah.
I just have.
Okay, so maybe you two are a little behind then.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah,
fault.
we're
If you
moving
want to
stuff in.
reset.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, you are still dressed in your ghillie suit, aka shrub costume, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. So Frankie was right. We wanted to
Okay.
make sure
Right.
that what he saw matched up to reality.
Right.
Although right now, since you do appear to be a person, he's checking to see whether or not he smoked some really bad shit last night.
Right. Basha, do you respond to the inquiry at all?
To which
Do either
inquiry?
one of you respond to Frankie's inquiry?
of
Is there a botanist, or are you addressing something? What are you guys doing? Are we all
So-
assembled in the kitchen?
well, no, I would say that Basha put his stuff in the basement and is walking past the kitchen right now.
Okay.
So he's just going to peer in. And now at this point, you've seen that he's taken off his robes.
Okay.
And he's this like 6 foot, maybe 200 pounds. Like he's on the thin side for an orc. He's standing there with a long ponytail on the back. No shirt on. Brown like leather pants and like these big sandals over his gigantic feet.
And it's going to be very surprising because orcs, like especially full on orcs, like not half orcs or anything like that, are very rare. Like you don't see them much outside of their own clans or tribes, or to the northwest of the southern kingdoms is kind of where a lot of them are camped out now.
He has a greenish grayish skin hue. And then he has a large pendant that hangs around his neck that has the holy symbol of Valen on it.
A lot of people believe in Valen. Like that's like a lot for a lot of people in this era, especially like, shorter lived races like humans and things like that. Like this new deity is like she's all the rage.
Kip clearly has connections in the Citadel because she sent Jarrell to begin with.
Right.
And now she's sent Basha, who is again from the Citadel.
Okay. I guess if everybody is in the same area, Stenton would just maybe list off some chores that need done.
Sure. Like what?
Several windows need repaired because someone keeps throwing bottles through them during vocal practice. We also need weeds pulled and several repairs to the outer fence.
Basha bows and almost jets out the door.
Okay, Chubbs is gonna look at it. Chubbs is not like quite stopped staring. Like his eyes just really have not closed yet, and he's just gonna spurt out like quietly under his breath. Eyes are just windows to the soul. And then he's gonna walk out and start working on the windows.
So you guys continue like this over the course of the next maybe 2 or 3 days. just Stenton gives out chores, really is not fazed by anything. We got Chubbs just being a fucking creep. Not a creep. That's not really the right adjective. Just being a weird dude.
You can just kind of tell
This
that,
dude's
like,
seen some shit.
underneath,
Something's
like,
wrong.
real deep down, like, there's some deep sadness,
Deep hurt.
but also some deep anger,
Hmm.
and also a little bit of manic depression,
A little bit of self-loathing.
a little bit of self-loathing, slight amount of wisdom,
just sensing a lot of pain.
but definitely a lot of pain.
Wisdom from pain.
So,
Yeah.
where was the area we weren't allowed to go again?
Who are you asking this
So
to?
when you
The
exit
DM.
when you exit the bunks in the basement, if you actually flip this over. This is where you guys
Okay, yeah.
Go.
sleep.
Yep.
That is the south.
We
you guys are in
sleep.
the northeast corner of the basement.
Of the basement.
You were told to stay away from this area.
Well, now
The
see, here's
the southwest corner.
Don't
here's,
do it.
here's where Stenton went wrong. He didn't tell us anything.
There's signs.
So,
there are signs posted up
There's signs.
everywhere.
but as a halfling,
And you are
I'm
turned- yeah.
extremely curious about things.
Okay, so you mean there are Mega Project people guarding that area?
Okay. But I'm still curious about what's in it.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask Stenton first.
Okay.
So I've noticed down in the basement there's this room that's guarded. What's going on over there?
That's the bad room.
The what does that mean?
Bad happen if you try to go to that room.
Oh well, I mean, bad things happen to me anyway, so I mean, it just seems really interesting that there's
That's
this room
the
that's being
bad
guarded
room.
and you don't even know what's in it.
He just keeps saying over and over, that's a bad room.
Bad
Bad
That's the
room.
bad
You don't want to go boom boom. Bad.
That's so intense.
Now, Murph, are you working your way over there?
Where are
Well,
you having the
Curious.
conversation?
Well, okay.
Well, yeah, so we were upstairs.
we're
so
probably
now you're
upstairs
kind
at
of.
this point,
right.
right. So I'm just curious. I want to know what's going on over there. Sten's not really answering my question.
You can tell that Chubbs has a little bit of interest in what Murph is saying. It's kind of like giving him the side eye. Still hasn't blinked yet, but is like kind of giving a wince that would like suggest that
He's trying
he's
to
like,
wink.
I'm kind of like into this idea.
Hold on one second.
We're talking about like a day and a half later, right?
Like maybe 2 or 3 days.
Sort
He still
of.
hasn't blinked.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sort
Okay.
of. My
I'm
perception
laying
isn't
on
great.
Very
but-
strong though.
Okay. So I notice Glenn's side eye, and I go to Glenn, but knowing full well that I'm probably about to have a conversation with myself.
Mhm.
So I kind of walk up to Glenn. I leave Stenton. So you noticed that room too, huh? Yeah, it's kind of curious. I wonder what's in it.
Glenn just still says nothing. Just gives him the old like wink, like
One eye
heavy
closes for half a second.
One eye. Wink. Still saying nothing.
And then back to
So-
the non-blinking.
Back to non-blinking.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we should know what's in it.
All I'm gonna say, and it's just,
Stenton, you're still standing here, by the way. Okay.
I'm gonna lean over to Murph's ear. I'm gonna whisper right into his ear. Shooter, I got your 6.
With what? Okay. I feel like I would know what that means. Okay.
I mean,
So,
if
okay.
you can roll perception for
I
it.
well,
please
I feel like
feel
that would be an
free, but-
intelligence, and I feel like I have good intelligence, so I feel like I know. I would.
That's
know.
yeah,
Sure.
that's
Okay,
negligible.
so I know what that means. I just. Okay, yeah. So
So he's like if Bumblebee spoke only in military jargon cliches.
Right.
I mean, you're catching it.
So now, in those 3 days, would Basha have cleared the weeds? I rolled for it. At
Yeah,
dexterity
that's
10,
fine.
But I figured
you
he
did it.
Yeah.
It's pulling weeds.
So most of the weeds on the property are gone. So the property looks pretty nice at this point now. He's been working solid.
At least around the keep itself, but in the greater like field
There's a
area,
lot.
there's still a ton.
So I can tell there's work for me for a long, long time.
Yeah, and by the time you've cleared half of the other ones, like there's probably more growing in near the keep.
Are you all conversing in the kitchen? Basha's going to walk in, go towards a drink. He's going to find a big pitcher of like iced tea or something like that. He's going to pour. He's going to look at Stanton and say, "So, what day's payday?"
Oh, that's a really good question. Since you're the guy in charge of the keep, are you the one that pays us? We've been doing a lot of work.
They will bring the pay.
Who?
Erlon.
Oh, that's not what we were told.
That does not fit with what I read in the contract.
Wait,
Did
They-
you signed a contract?
did any of you actually read the contract?
I would have if I knew there was a contract.
I have a 16 for intelligence on what I would gather from what the contract might have said.
It pretty much said that the the heroes of the Kingdom of Vesh would be responsible for the payment of your goods and services once the funds were available to them.
All right. So so Basha, remembering this, is going to say, "The heroes have been on many grand adventures. I am proud to be once again working with the great Lord Jarrell the Light."
Okay.
Stenton rolls his eyes.
Haven't they sent
Pick that
any
one up.
money back? Tales of their exploits are reaching every area of the nation, really.
You hear Felix sort of through some weird like thought bubble. We need to franchise.
T-shirts, flamethrowers, boxes of cereal.
And we cut back into the room.
That's part of their movies.
So
They will send the pay.
Basha gives you an odd look and kind of walks back out of the room. He's not going outside, but he might just be like off in the other parts of the house for a little bit.
I mean, if I've eaten, that was a heated exchange for Stenton, so he's gonna walk. He's gonna head out.
It took a lot of brain power
Yeah.
out of him.
I'm maybe going to just head out to the foyer. area.
okay, sure.
Get some space from everybody.
Sure. So I'm gonna kind of lay it out like this at this point. You have two avenues that I've kind of sort of presented themselves.
Right.
You have the fact that no one's getting paid,
At least that we can tell yet.
and that there is an off limits area in the basement of the keep.
Very interesting.
We've been working for a few days now.
So, as it maybe starts to get later in the day, say maybe around dinner time, we'll say 5 o'clock, like 5 p.m. What have you guys all settled into doing? Let's say some time passes.
So when Stenton walked out into in the foyer, he met with Basha, and they just kind of hung out pretty silently the majority of the night. Like nobody wanted to go by Basha, nobody wanted to go by Stenton, that kind of thing. Basha helps make dinner.
Yeah. What do you make?
It's mostly just like rice and 4 random wild chickens that he found out in the backyard.
Chubbs is grilling a can of beans that he took out of his pocket over the fire to contribute to the meal.
Now, Basha brought these with him.
Yes.
And he looks at Stenton and says, "How do you afford new food and these, basic necessities? What do you use to pay for them?"
What are you whispering?
You have to hunt for it.
I what?
You have to hunt for it.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Fran just stabbed me.
This is my like
the amazing things of radio.
my motion for like you
Hunt.
you hunt
Not like that. Not
Yeah.
like that.
No,
It was
apparently,
Fran's a knife.
I saw
hunter.
Jackie.
Friends hunting
I'm saying
experience.
Stanton.
You just run into the woods with a knife and try to murder someone. Are you still using a spear? Is that what it was?
I was more saying Stanton.
Fran may or may not have just admitted to being a serial killer.
You hunt.
Definitely not.
Definitely not, but maybe. But only a little bit. On weekends.
That was great.
Don't forget, the harder of a time you give me, the worse everything's going to be for you.
We've accepted this a long
No,
time
but James
ago.
and I
We're
had a
just-
conversation.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear what Stenton has to say.
I feel like we have that conversation every time we're here.
yeah.
Just
So,
that's true.
where do all the goods come from?
Stenton's sitting there thinking about this.
I mean, I would say some at least basic rations were supplied by the Omega Project.
Like, where are you getting food and stuff?
You know, but like,
Omega Project supplies some. I have become quite the hunter.
As you're saying this, Basha puts a fork to his mouth and looks at you in the eyes, eats, and just puts the fork back down.
Stanton grabs one of the chickens with his bare hands and just begins to take bites out of it.
right.
Whole.
surprisingly enough, Frankie does, when he has the presence of mind or is looking to eat something specific, does pull his weight hunting. Is he'll go out into the woods with the loot, pull a Disney princess performance, and bring in some animals, and then shoot one or two of them with a crossbow.
Right?
While Stanton's out stabbing the rest of them from behind. It's been a lethal 1-2 combo. And quite frankly, it's been about all Frankie's been good for over the last 2.5 weeks.
Frankie's survived on tours once or twice. Things get a
Right.
little weird out in the field.
Right.
Plus, no one wants to live with an angry barbarian
No.
or a hangry barbarian.
Right.
So
So-
Murph has added to the plethora of
The dinner table.
dishes
God.
with boiled seasoned greens, and he states, "Oh, anybody else a vegetarian?"
So I'm gonna hand my now like lukewarm can of beans to Murph, and then I'm actually gonna roll right now for animal handling. What Chubbs is gonna do is sprint out into the woods and see how many animals he can wrangle.
From the dinner
Yeah,
table.
no, in like a real short period of time.
Sure.
He's looking at the table. He's not impressed. Like
Sure.
I'm trying to do what I'm doing.
Ooh.
That is this is great. What's 15 plus 8? 24.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Give me a
23?
subsequent survival check.
Even better. It's a 14. It's a 12.
Okay, you managed to bag. What do we say? You bag a moose.
A whole moose?
Solid.
By yourself?
However, you kind of lose your way in the woods on the way back. It takes you about a half hour additional to get back to the keep.
I drag.
Everyone's done with dinner now.
Doesn't matter. I drag the moose back.
Doesn't matter.
Bosch is sitting outside under the moonlight watching you drag this murdered moose
Right.
across the
Well,
yard.
not many people had a fulfilling meal.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is in front of. Where's everybody? Is everybody kind of
Well,
in the same
Bosch is
As
outside.
soon
in the
as
same area?
as soon as Stanton can see him dragging the moose, his first thought is, "Oh, finally a fucking meal," and he's going to go help if Gold Dust is open to it. So I'm gonna walk around to the back of the moose and just grab the back of the
No,
legs and
Chubbs.
start
Oh
helping
no,
him
Chubbs
carry.
looks at Stenton and says, "You drop this moose if you know what's good for you." And then I'm gonna start field dressing the moose with a quickness.
Are you
You
not
know what?
sharing
You know
this
what?
moose?
You know
No,
what?
I'm gonna share the moose.
Even better. That's what you're looking to do?
Yeah.
So Stanton just stands there and holds the moose up in the air by its legs so that you can go on the other side and field dress it.
And I just start.
He's
ripping
doing
this
this,
thing
and
apart.
he's doing this effortlessly.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I got
Actually, at one point, I have an itch and I have to let go with one of my hands, and then I come back.
Okay. So I just rip this thing apart. I bring it back to kind of, you're outside, everybody's kind of outside. It's safe to say we have like a fire going, we're all kind of chilling.
Probably.
Nope. Murph is down in the bunk reading.
Okay, well, sucks for Murph because I
Or
just
does
start
it?
throwing like slabs of this moose on the fire.
We're just having a
That
cookout.
doesn't suck for Murph because he's vegetarian.
So while you guys are all eating around the fire, Frankie, where are you eating with them?
Yeah, Frankie's around there.
Murph.
Yeah.
You hear a loud thud from the corner room of the basement where you were told not to go, and then a whirring sound as if something is spinning up. It's a very mechanical whir, but there's definitely a hum also.
As we're outside cooking, Basha finishes his gourd and wanders back into the house. After this noise or whatever. Unless it's still going. Because he's going to get
You
more
can't
booze.
hear it.
Basha's going to get more booze.
Okay. Sure. But let's go back to Murph real quick. Because this is happening as you're walking back.
Okay.
I don't know what those two die rolls were, but they don't both did not look good.
I am not. I hear the sound, but I can't figure out. Like, I wouldn't know necessarily what that sound is, right? So as I'm reading my book, I kind of ignore it for a little bit, but I'm assuming it keeps going.
And gets a little bit louder.
Okay.
And you hear some people like kind of shouting over the noise.
So more so than curiosity, but annoyance, because I can't concentrate. Hence the rolls. I can't concentrate on my reading that I'm really, really like I want to do before I go to bed. I venture out to figure out where the sound is coming from, not necessarily knowing it's coming from that room. So I follow the sound and I end up at that room.
You end up at the threshold to that area. You're kind of walking through like a very like shelvy area, and there's a couple guys who stop you, and like you hear them like kind of shouting over the noise. It's very loud at this point, but where you are, and they're shouting over like, "You can't be back here! It's not safe!"
How many of them are there?
There's two that you can see. You need to turn around now! I'm being really nice about it!
All right. Now,
He's staring at you, screaming.
Okay, so his response is there any way to turn down the sound?
No! Go back to being, just go back about your business
Well, I'm trying to read.
and go read somewhere else!
But that's where I sleep.
That's cool! We'll be done before you go to bed!
He knows his bedtime.
So he
They've probably been working down
Do
there
you
for
come
a
and tell us
long
any of
time.
this?
So he attempts to kind of like go back to his reading.
Uh-huh.
He puts a pillow over his ears, but that
Right.
doesn't work.
No.
His concentration is totally broken. So he goes upstairs and he looks for Chubbs. Only because of the wink from earlier.
Is Chubb still by the fire eating a
Chubbs
bunch
is
of
by
moose?
the fire, literally devouring anything that he can get near him. All the juices and blood of this moose are just like running down my face. I have the ghillie suit off now. It's just I'm just like bare chested with like my dog tags hanging from my neck, and just like the blood of this animal is just like spilling all over me.
Oh my
Just,
God.
like wrecking this thing.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and as a vegetarian comes in,
Yeah.
tries to talk to me about something.
Does he pass Basha?
Yeah,
on the way
actually,
out?
you guys kind of like bump into each other because you're going to get booze. You hear like a hum from the basement, but it's much less loud up here. But it's definitely still like there's a sound coming from the basement, and you pass by Murph as he's walking outside.
I just kind of, Basha just kind of looks at Murph as he's walking in. Not in much of a rush, but he's going to not say anything to Murph. As they pass. No, I guess he would. He's like, what is that noise?
Yeah. Wait, okay, so I'm just trying to, because I thought I was outside already.
Yeah, but I would have been walking either down.
This
happened
just
before
passing.
I
just
You're
passed it.
you're just passing each other.
I ignore you, and I keep going toward Chubbs.
Okay.
Rude little man. And I go and I.
Well,
get-
so my
Yeah.
concentration is completely like off, so I don't even
Sure.
notice that you've even stopped to talk to me.
Okay.
So I find Chubbs, but as I find Chubbs, as the blood is trickling down his body, I react almost like as if you would walk in on a naked woman. Like, I'm so like it was like he's apologizing to Chubbs, even though it's more like I'm offended. So Murph is the one that's offended from his disgusting eating habits and meat, but I'm apologizing to Chubbs. I'm so sorry. I need your help with something.
Now I can tell that Murph has seen something, and seen something that he could never unsee, and that he is distraught by what he has saw. So Chubbs understands this feeling quite a bit, and I just take both of my hands and I just like slap his cheeks and look at him like
Like you're holding
so
his head.
intensely.
You're holding his face in your hands.
Yeah,
and
I saw the blood around it.
Yes. I can just imagine the moose juices dripping down Murph's face as he's looking in horror into these eyes.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say, son, tell me what you've seen.
Holding back a huge gag reflex to this.
Let him go.
I can
Make a
also
Constitution save.
Yeah. Did you let him go, or are you still holding?
No, I have
He's grappled.
locked onto him.
He is officially grappled.
it is a 9.
Yeah, you dry heave quite a bit, right in his face. As he's still like gripping your face.
Who created these characters?
All I asked these guys for was, hey, what class do you want to play? Okay, what personality do you want to play? Great. The rest is magic.
Yep.
Basement noises.
Now, now Chubbs is just gonna whisper to him and say, "Soldier, you may rest now."
Are you,
And then
are you
Chubbs is
pulling
gonna-
his
no,
face
and then-
towards your mouth? Are you like?
That's
Which way
basically
you
like,
go?
and like kind of at the end of it, like my tongue is like flicking specks of like spit and then like moose, right
Into his
right
ear.
in his face, and then I'm gonna shapeshift into a fruit fly, and I'm gonna go down to the basement and see what's in there.
He's a druid. He can wild shape.
Yeah,
You have
We
one.
weren't
You have
expecting that.
one hit point.
that's fine.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Is there any sort
No,
of
but when he dies as his polymorph, any excess damage carries over to his normal
My
self.
normal, right?
So he would just take one less.
Damage, yeah.
No, one less damage
less,
than
okay.
he would normally take.
Which is fine. Okay.
So is there a bucket of
so the
water or some sort of like water
He's gonna
source
walk, so-
around
Like a spigot,
where we are? Like a
a
spigot?
well.
Yeah, there's probably like some sort of like pump.
Okay, I immediately run over to the pump and like put my face under it so that I
Sure.
can wash off
Absolutely.
the guts and the grossness that
Absolutely.
was just...
So Chubbs, what are you doing as a fruit fly?
There's a fruit fly. You kind of led me towards like obviously the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So as this fruit fly, I'm making my way through the house, through the kitchen, trying to find the stairwell.
Yep. I mean, you find it.
Going down the stairwell, right, and then like, do I hear the noises as this?
Oh,
fruit
yeah,
fly-
it's
I hear
loud
the
as
noises.
fuck.
I know what's going on. I try to slip underneath a little crack in the door in the bottom. I try to get in the room.
Oh wait, before you do that, I roll stealth. I rolled a 22 to see if you notice me.
Who? Actually, no. Everyone will be making a passive perception roll because everyone was paying attention to other things. So there's no roll. It's just
Right.
what's everybody's passive perception.
What does he mean?
I want to know if Chubbs can sense me in
No.
the basement with him.
What's your passive perception as a fruit fly? I'm just kidding. It's your normal passive perception.
It's
What's
a
your
15.
It's a 15? Yeah, so you don't notice him. No one notices him just slip away.
As Chubbs in
Unless
fly
Frank did.
form
Okay.
is going past Basha, I'm going to
I need you to make a perception check.
Okay, so oh damn.
That is
And you roll me a
incredible.
stealth check
Eight.
as a fruit
fucked.
fly.
8.
You're so fucked.
Oh, you got me.
I got you big time.
Damn it.
You
14.
lose the fruit fly in the darkness.
I wanted to do the fucking grab.
Yeah. No. All right, so
Because that would have been a cool martial arts thing, no?
right.
Yeah, and then popping him out of that
Right.
shift form right into
Hey,
It would've
no,
been
it is what it
hilarious.
is. The
That's
flies
why-
are annoying as fuck. Nobody wants
and you
them
couldn't
around.
see him. It's dark outside.
Yeah.
He's a fruit fly.
Right. Well,
So-
we're in the basement.
I mean, you snuck down to the basement, but you don't know where he went. So there's actually no door to this area.
Okay.
It's actually just like open, but it's like the south, like the furthest like southwest corner of the basement. And there's like, several guards sort of patrolling the area, looking around. And what was
going
your,
as high
what
up
was your
to the
stealth roll
ceiling
again?
as
Mine was
possible.
a 22.
No.
Mine was
Okay.
15.
15. None of them see you. Either of you. And you're able to fly at least close enough to get a better look. In this southwest corner of the basement, there is a large platform. It's been raised up, sort of has there's two areas. It's kind of built into the corner, and there's two areas where there's like a ramp, like at each open side, right? It's kind of like a semicircle kind of coming out from the wall. Atop the plinth of this, like the very top of the platform, is sort of like a large flat area. This takes up a big 20 by 20 space. There's like sort of a circular platform plinth at the top. There are 4 arching metal bars that have been sort of curved and then come up to a point, and they're spinning super fast around this circle. And inside you can see this blue / purple energy, this little specks of orange, just sort of forming, almost creating an ovular shape, lengthwise, so height-wise, right? So it's very long, very tall, but it's thin. And you can almost make out almost different scenery in that misty, weird aura. And you hear some of the scientists shouting to each other, but by the time you get here, it's way too loud. You have no idea how the hell they're even communicating. And you see one of them is operating a control panel. It's got several levers, a lot of buttons. It's complex, some dials and meters and all these different things doing whatever, goodness knows, right? And eventually, after some of the shouting subsides, and I'm saying you can also see this too, Basha,
Why can I see it?
because you snuck up.
No, he was in fly form.
Right, but I mean, you're able to peek around the corner at least and
Sure.
see this from a distance.
Okay.
But you're looking through some shelves.
Yeah.
But eventually, one of the guys flips the lever again, and the thing begins to slow down. But you almost saw a person, the shape of a person, kind of on the other side of, or one of the scenery shapes, sort of standing there, right? But now it's starting to shut down as the bars begin to slow down. The image fades, and there's this just fog in the room now. People are kind of white, hand, fanning it away from their faces. Yeah, right. It's just sort of it's maybe dust, maybe some sort of residue from whatever this experiment was, and then you see a bunch of different scientists just or a mega project workers scribbling on some clipboard notepads and whatnot and recording different results. You see them circling a bunch of things and check marking a bunch of things and Xing a bunch of things out, and then they kind of go about just inspecting the thing and whatnot.
I rolled an insight at 23.
Okay.
If I would know what kind of I know it's a mega project, but
Your insight tells you this is definitely, they're definitely experimenting on something new. They're testing it here. You don't know what this is, though, but it would appear that there's a large amount of energy being generated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have also rolled an insight of 26, and I'm going
Nice.
to try to fly down as close to these clipboards as I possibly can to see what they've been writing down.
Okay, it is a severe amount of jargon.
Okay.
I would like for you to make me an intelligence roll.
Uh-oh. 14.
Okay. You know what? You're able to recognize that this is a portal generator.
Okay.
You have no idea how it works.
Okay. I'm gonna make another perception check just while I'm here, just to see if I can notice anything else in the surrounding area. What's it? It's gonna be a big old shitstorm here, guy.
And Basha rolled a nat 1, so he ran away.
I got a 9.
What?
Perception was a 9.
I mean, it's hard to see through a lot of this sort of fog now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a little fly. Like it's kind of almost like screwing you up a little bit. You're having a hard time seeing yourself.
Okay. I navigate my way around the room. I try to see as much as I possibly can. There's a lot of fog, obviously. Other than that, I've rolled my perception. I can't really see.
Basha,
But-
on the way out, rolled to see how, like, gracefully I exit.
Uh-huh. Yeah, keep
I
making
rolled
yourself
a
roll shit.
2.
Oh, yeah. So you actually crash into a bunch of shelves. In fact, I wouldn't say that they start falling down, but a few things fall off of the shelves.
Okay.
And you see a few of the guards immediately turn around.
I want to do an acrobatics to try to, like, prop them up real quick. Like, catch them in the air.
I like that. Dexterity save, actually.
Oh, it's still extremely clumsy. Just a 5. That's another 2.
Oh, yeah. They fall, and actually you knock a few more things down. And you're actually, as you're kind of reaching over the shelves, right, and, like, you're holding, like, you're trying to catch one of the books and you miss it, you're eye to eye now with one of the guards.
Basha's gonna run. Again. Just try to keep booking it. This time he gets a 15.
Okay, I mean, you get away, but he continues to chase you.
Who is chasing me outside?
Yes.
Okay, I bust out of the door.
Right.
I am also seeing this.
There's
happen.
an exit to
Fly.
outside from the basement as well. Through a
Oh,
set of
okay, so I
storm
didn't have
doors.
to go back up. Okay,
Into the
okay, so
house.
straight outside.
Yes,
So
he follows you outside.
I go straight outside. I turn and I bow and I say, "So many apologies. I did not know what that noise was. I just wanted to look."
He hasn't stopped moving since you stopped to turn around and talk to him, and he's now reaching his hand out to like grab you by the collar.
My persuasion is a 2, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, he grabs you by the collar now. I would like to make you to make a strength saving throw.
9.
Okay, yeah, he definitely got you. He rolled a natural 9, so
Okay, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
So I see them.
he's grabbed you by the collar. And he just looks at you and says, "What did you see?"
I saw a doorway.
You need to come with me right now.
Where did all this happen?
How quickly can I shift back into a not fruit fly?
Are you
This
there?
is happening literally right outside the cellar door on the exterior of the building.
I follow.
So while in the courtyard where we were eating moose?
Like not too far from where you were bonfiring.
Okay, so I'm assuming that I
You see
that.
now this Omega Project, like goon, like not goon, but like like just dude.
How tall is he compared to how tall is me?
How tall is who?
How tall?
How tall is he as compared to how tall is me?
So
Can I get that tattooed? Like, can I get that tattooed?
someone grabbed.
You're like maybe
Basha.
7'2".
Okay.
He's 6'4".
He's probably in a lab coat. He's taller than I am.
He's in an armored lab coat.
And he's taller than I am.
Okay. I may walk over to him and attempt to grab him by the collar. He's got my friend.
He's
like a
picking me up,
Mexican
and you're gonna try to
standoff
pick
of, like-
both of us up so that we're all holding each other in the air.
Sure.
Like this Mexican collar standoff.
Mexican collar standoff.
Good.
You do that. 19.
Oh, so many ones tonight.
Yeah, he got a 19.
So that beats my natural 1.
He stiff arms you,
Okay.
and you fall flat. He like face mushes you and pushes you to the ground effortlessly.
At this point, Zero, Jeez, Frankie, who's with the group, rolls up to this exchange. Wait, Mr. Scientist Man, and he points to sorry, what was your
Basha.
Basha. Is he green?
I am a slight gray
I'm sorry. Then he asks if you're in. Is he gray?
and a little bit green.
You are green.
You're a son of a bitch.
All right. Well,
No, we're keeping all of that now because you're an asshole.
so Frankie covers one eye, covers the other eye.
Perfect.
Switches back and forth a couple of times, sees that you are in fact the color he was asking whether or not you were. With a dead straight face, I've made a huge mistake. And just turns around and books it back into the house.
Whoa.
Okay.
What a dick.
Great.
No, it wasn't that. It's
Hold on,
the
wait.
drugs aren't working properly.
Would you say that's gray?
Dad jokes all around.
You made such a self-satisfied look, but no one else looked at you
Right.
that way.
Very happy about it. I'll be honest with you, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, you mulled that one over
Yeah.
a couple times in your head.
I mean, it took me like
Nailed the
all
delivery.
20 seconds.
Anyways, the guy begins now just literally carrying you inside.
Yeah. Now, where's Murph?
I'm right there. More
But
or
you're
less,
watching
'cause
this
I was
happen. He's
outside.
now he's now being carried into
So-
the house proper.
I'm going
Or the keep
to
proper.
cast sleep.
On who?
Well, it's a radius.
Everyone.
It's going
We'll
to
see
affect.
what happens.
It's going to affect him as
The
well.
two of you, right?
Okay.
So there's really like I'm just trying to figure out what to do. So, I'm gonna roll 5d8, 24 hit points.
Neither one of us falls asleep.
Okay.
No, none of us fall asleep, but we all
So-
noticed that you did that.
Yeah,
hold on
we
a
all
second.
noticed that you did that. Oh no, I
Okay.
forgot about that.
That works out perfectly.
Okay.
Now,
So nothing actually happens then when you put them to sleep.
Nothing. So, for all intents and purposes, my eyes are no longer crossed. That's
Okay.
all I'll give away for now.
Okay.
now, how quickly can I change back? Am I stuck like this for a while?
Use a bonus action to change back.
Okay.
So whenever you want.
So whenever the fuck you want.
Now.
Where
I'm back
are
in
you?
the backyard. I flew back with them. I'm going to change back into my own person.
And he's holding me in the air.
He's holding.
Yeah.
The man's holding you in the air.
Yeah.
Hold on. He doesn't notice you just appear out of fucking nowhere next to him.
Well,
is.
then do I get advantage on what I'm going to try to do?
Oh my god.
What are you going to try to do next?
I can do a few things.
Now, mind you,
What I'm going
there's-
to do is
Wait.
cast confusion. Is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
That means that everyone within, like, okay, how big is this area? That's what I need to know.
everyone within a 65-foot radius is confused.
The range is 90 feet, but it says 10 plus 5 spell slot feet
10 plus, I think probably 5 per spell slot addition.
per
Right.
spell slot, so it's
So
a
it's
fourth
10
level
feet.
spell.
Oh god.
Or
No, hold on.
20.
Just hold on. Confusion. The spell assaults and twists creatures' minds, spawning delusions and provoking uncontrolled action. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere, centered on a point you choose within range, must succeed on a wisdom saving throw when you cast the spell or be affected by it.
This is
So
10 foot.
everyone within a 10-foot
the
radius
best
sphere.
day of my life.
Okay? An affected target can't take reactions and must roll a d10 at the start of each of its turns to determine its behavior before that turn. At the end of each of its turns, an affected target can make a wisdom saving throw, and if it succeeds, this effect ends for that target.
Okay, so I am absolutely going to cast confusion. Right before I do that, I say, "I'll save you, soldier."
What's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC 16.
What do I
Okay.
use? Wisdom?
Do I add anything to that or no? Or it is what it is. Do I add anything?
No,
to that?
your
It
DC
just
has
is
already
what it
been
is.
added up.
Sure.
He is not affected by your confusion. What did you roll for your save?
Bosch is real confused.
Okay. So now a confused Bosch, and actually, are you right next to him? Because I think you said
Correct.
you were right next to him. So you also make the save.
Is it plus wisdom?
It's a wisdom save. So look at your
15,
wisdom saving throw
18.
bonus.
right there. You rolled an 18.
Bitches, I ain't confused.
Cool.
I know
Well, he
exactly
looks
what
at you, and then you see him sort of like sort of almost like put his like 2 fingers in front of his mouth. He like whispers something, and then all of a sudden, everyone in a 20-foot radius sphere is deafened.
Basha is real confused, and now he's deaf.
Now
And he's
I am
going-
deaf.
he-
I can't save
You
against
cannot cast any spells while you are within this area that require a verbal component.
Basha tries to throw a punch,
Oh boy.
and only gets an 11.
No, that does not beat this dude's AC.
Good.
He's going to pin you to the ground. Yeah, he gets a 24 for his strength check.
Basha is absolutely freaking out. He's deaf and really confused.
He floors you,
the only one who's deaf and really confused at the same time.
and you're going to see him touch you, and I need you to make a Constitution save.
Nat 20.
Okay, you are not paralyzed.
So I'm
it.
still...
Nat 20 gets him paralyzed.
No, you are not
Right.
Not
paralyzed.
Right.
You said you are now paralyzed. I'm
So-
like, I want to know what it would have been.
He
other than
tried to just paralyze me. I'm not paralyzed. I'm still kind of thrashing around.
Okay.
Murph literally vomits all over himself.
It's just
And no one hears it.
And
the
at
stress of the
this point-
situation.
Sorry.
And he does not succeed on the Constitution saving throw, so he will vomit at some other time soon.
Frankie barges out of the house. He's wearing the clown pants he was earlier, which are polka dots on the left side and this vertical diamond harlequin pattern on the right. Barefoot, bare-chested, but wearing a scarf that can only be described as out of the Steven Tyler microphone collection wrapped around his neck and draping back behind him like some glorious double cape. He's got his lute in his left hand, his rapier drawn and pointed forward in his right hand. He is staggering and shouts, "Perfidy! That motherfucker sold me oregano again!" And just comes charging out, waggling and brandishing this sword almost
sure.
randomly.
Eventually, you get to a spot in the ground where you can no longer hear anything at all. You cross the threshold of this like silence
Right.
sphere and are literally deafened. And you see the guard just like start like waving his arms, like to just like almost like a calm the fuck down.
Does he let Basha up?
Yes.
Basha's up and runs into the woods.
Now, just to add
And you
to
just
this-
see him kind of like throw his hands in the air and like they just kind of like land at his sides.
All right. Just to add another wrinkle into this fold.
Uh-huh.
Because it's necessary. Chubbs, unsatisfied, will cast.
You can't cast anything. You are in an area of silence.
Right.
How long does confusion
Yeah.
last for?
That doesn't. It has nothing to do
If
with
any
saying
spell,
anything.
if any spell requires a verbal component, you
can't do
cannot
it.
hear yourself
Let me
speak.
see if it's a verbal component. How do I know it's verbal?
Look at
It'll
the
say it.
materials.
It's instantaneous,
VSM.
VSM. If it has a
V, it's verbal.
Fuck.
All of them are verbal. You have to say something for every fucking spell.
There's a few.
Yeah?
Yeah, not the one that I want.
Right, okay.
Who's
Moving.
I'm not in this, right?
Everyone's in it now.
Okay, it only lasts for a minute. Confusion.
Right.
So after Basha is no longer confused, when he gathers himself and tries to kind of comprehend what the hell just happened, he's going to run back to the group.
Right. Okay. You're on your way back while this guy is still like waving his arms in the air to tell everybody to calm down. Like you can't
Well,
hear
he
anything
can't, I was
still.
gonna say.
No.
So we just see him flailing his arms.
Yeah.
Like just like back down.
Stenton,
Do you guys just like stop? I mean, Stenton has been doing shit this whole time.
Right.
I've just been kind of watching this madness
Sure.
unfold.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. What would you like to do right now?
Well, first of all, I've seen this play out before, so
Have you?
Well, I'm headed towards Frankie because I've
Frank- yeah.
seen what happens when someone sells him bad drugs. We've been living together for like 2.5 weeks.
Right.
A guy
Oh,
like
more than
Frankie,
that. Months.
but living together alone.
Oh, right.
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 So I've been
It's been a
I've
month
seen
since
what
you've
it's
been alone,
like
yeah.
when he gets sold bad drugs. So I'm trying to
Console him.
I'm inadvertently trying to calm the situation because I'm going over and trying to stop Frankie.
And Frankie is even more inconsolable than normal because, and he has dropped to his knees. Tears are streaming down his face because now he cannot hear his own voice.
Right.
That is a crime against
which is
nature.
why I wanted to make sure I spelled out that eventually Frankie can't hear himself talk anymore.
Right.
So when Stenton gets over to Frankie, Is Frankie a little guy?
No, he's like a human,
Okay.
right? Half elf.
Yeah, no, full human.
Okay.
Skinny though, maybe $135, $140 tops.
Yeah. A shell of his former glory.
I mean, he's built like a rock star.
Yeah.
It's a cocaine diet.
The guy immediately he ends the silence as you guys are kind of just like standing off. He says,
Chubbs has been like stop, dropping, and rolling because he didn't know what was going on for like the last like however long we've been in silence.
he just says, "Wait, I just need him to sign an NDA." I want everyone to actually give me intelligence checks to see,
see
if
if
they
we know what NDA
History
means.
checks. History checks.
Nondescript. Well, fuck.
22.
History checks, you said?
Yes.
12. And
No.
I'd also like to
Nat
roll.
one.
No.
That's a hard 7.
15.
No.
Hard 7.
Okay.
I also rolled a 14.
So I'm
Hold on.
What did you get?
a 22.
Oh.
Murph, you know what a non-disclosure agreement is. Gross. That's it? That's all you do?
And
You
then
just,
I just wipe my chin a little bit. Go on.
I don't understand what the hostility is about. He saw some things. We just need him to sign a form. And we urge everyone, please, to just stay out of the southwest corner of the basement. We are hard at work. It is very dangerous. Just don't go there.
Chubbs is going to look at him and say, "You haven't seen danger. I don't care about your NWAs or your WMDs."
Uh-huh.
And he's going to ramble like that for like a while.
My interest is the fact that maybe I could help with the situation.
Uh-huh.
I'm a very intelligent human. Not a human being at all. I'm a very intelligent halfling, you know.
I mean, that's really good for you. Do you have any open contracts with the project? Have you worked with us in the past? Have you filled out a vendor disclosure form? Have you filled out... hold on, let's see. He pulls another notepad. Let's see, you need... are you an independent contractor or are you with a business? And he's flipping through all these different notes now.
The bureaucrats are ruining this world.
You're none of
But
those
I
things?
could.
No. We're not interested.
Ouch.
Is there a
Is he
VX
sad?
Junkies
Is
type
Murph-
subreddit for contract and legal jargon?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of all the weird technical documents and just splice names together, all the things that I know.
I like the
Is
vendor
Murph-
one. I was
Yeah.
like,
Is Murph visibly sad?
Is Murph visibly sad?
he's not sad. He's disappointed.
Yeah.
Might be the better word for it.
Is he an emotional guy on the outside?
He wants...
Wears his heart on his sleeve?
A little. He's very much about appeasing people, making sure that they're happy.
Right.
I mean, he's a typical halfling. He just wants to make sure that everything is sunshine and rainbows, and this is not, and that makes him disappointed.
Okay.
Well,
So, as the guard here notices Basha running back towards the situation, he's like, "Can you stop this crazy man?"
I'm going to jump over the small fence and come cruising up to him and immediately just stop dead right in front of him, bow, and say, 1,000 apologies. I forgot that the Omega Project was listed on the contract.
We've been working here. Who
What
are
contract?
you people? Stenton,
You didn't sign a contract?
you're supposed to
have no
be
idea
in
what you're
charge
talking
of these things.
Do you have our pay?
We're from the project. The only pay that
I wasn't
we've gotten was to
expecting a
supply
dole.
all the things for this house. We've given you food. We've given you furniture. What more do you want? Interns.
Money?
Do you have our pay?
No, I am not responsible for paying you.
Let's go.
I have a job to do. Which, by the way, I need to apologize now. We actually may be running a little longer than expected tonight, but promise we'll be done by 11 p.m. Not to be confused with 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
So
Basha-
Basha just keeps repeating that he wasn't expecting a doorway.
Basha, he kind of just shushes you, and he says, "Say no more. Actually, you know what? I need all of you to come with me now, and you need to sign some paperwork." And he kind of ushers you all inside to the main area. He takes you to the war room.
Oh, we're going to the war room? Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
He lays out 5 contracts. They're
Each, or one for each of us.
So there's 5 pieces of paper laid out on a table to be signed.
5 stacks of paper on each for each of you.
5 stacks.
5 stacks of papers for each of you. However, you see that only in all these stacks of paper, there's maybe 4 or 5 like tabbed areas where you actually need to sign. You just need to get to those, and he says you have to keep all of the pages in order, or else he has to produce a whole new set.
I fucking hate you.
And you just like have to, you know what I mean? You have to start over again.
All right, Chubbs pricks his finger with the tip of his knife and signs everything in blood.
Okay.
So you didn't read
I'm
any
glad
of it?
Chubbs got to it first because Frankie's first instinct is to barge to the front, Hancock the front of each of those packets right down the line, and just book it out of the room.
As Basha sees him trying to go for this move, knowing,
Yeah.
because he saw him do it the first time.
Right.
So I'm just going to try acrobatics as a something like that as a 19, just to like put my hand on him.
Yes, you do.
Quickly and just
All
say,
right.
"You should read what you're signing."
That's work for my agent.
Are you aware what a contract is? And I'm going to roll 14, I think, for what was it? Yeah, persuasion. Just a 14 to see
Yeah.
if you like.
I mean, yeah. You should know that I am not.
Basha will walk up and flip to his pages and sign them. But again, even he's going to read bits and pieces of them, but his intelligence is only a 3.
Nice.
All you know is that you are signing a dotted line that is below a whole list of words that you are not allowed to mention in public, and none of those words you even recognize.
Including the words that are in the contract.
No, the words that essentially, like, you're having trouble understanding. You just see a long list of words after, like, maybe like a paragraph explaining something about
Right, or like
these
a
words.
paragraph of exposition about what that word means and all the subcategories of that word.
Correct.
And then we're in.
And
right.
listing them as all as the intellectual property of the Omega Project, and should any of this information leak, that, you know, like, there would be consequences.
Okay, well, he signs it.
Okay.
It's for the best that Frankie doesn't read any of these things and just John Hancock's any space he's available to. Because if he read that and understood the terms, the next thing he would do would be to go to his bunk area with his lute and try to write a song with as many of those words in it as possible. It is for the best that he does not read anything
Okay.
in front of him.
Okay.
So first question for you.
Mm-hmm.
At an 11 dexterity, do I stop or catch something from happening?
What do you know?
Okay. I vomit on the first sheet of my pile.
And so you have to spend the rest of the night waiting while this dude meticulously reproduces these documents with the assistance of a magical quill.
Because
for
there's
the
no
next
laser printer.
2 hours. These guys go back off, do their own thing, go to bed, and you are now stuck for the rest of the night, getting no long rest before our next day, working through redoing these papers.
As he reworks the papers,
Oh, God.
I'm assuming I can read them as he's
Yes.
no each
Yes.
page is finished. I
Correct.
can read them. So I'm using my time wisely,
Right.
and reading each page as it is duplicated. And I have a 14
Uh-huh. On your...
on understanding what I'm reading.
Oh, like an intelligence check?
Because he gets to take his time with it.
Right.
Again, it's showing a list of, like, proprietary words
Mainly the words
about their
proprietary.
technology. A couple of the other signatures you are signing for is that you will not disclose any of the details of any objects or machinery that you have seen, nor are you allowed to give those machines any names yourself.
What?
And if you should breach any of the terms of this contract, the Omega Project has full legal authority to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
Which law?
It
Their
just
law.
says the law. And actually,
Bird law.
Murphy's Law?
and,
Bird law.
and the shut the fuck
I
up.
had to do it.
And the L in law is capitalized.
It's like the law above the law.
I am the law.
That's actually where I want to close the episode.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
As night falls and you are stuck all night signing these papers, so you're not going to get any long rest between these sessions, but the rest of these fellas will. Yes. and we're going to start the next day. You're going to get a short rest only.
That's okay, I'm a wizard.
So,
All good.
thanks everybody for joining us for another excursion to the Hapless Interns. Next time we will see how this concludes, if it concludes. If not, we'll have to be continued this at a whatever date. So, I really appreciate you all listening. You can find us on the internet. We are at Hapless Heroes on most things, or Hapless Heroes Podcast on others. Really, just search Hapless Heroes. You'll find our Twitter, you'll find our Facebook, you'll find our things. But all of those will lead you to our wonderful Discord server, which is where we spend most of our time interacting with people and stuff. I tweet sometimes, but I'm just terrible at Twitter. So
I need to be better at it.
yeah.
Do you though?
I really do.
No.
I check it like
so.
the Sunday before.
Hey, let's not hate. We found fans on Twitter,
We have found fans.
so I'm very respectful for that.
Yeah.
So, any hoozle. If you really like us, we'd appreciate it if you left us a 5-star review on the podcast service of your choice. Every review helps us gain more visibility, grow in the ranks, do all those wonderful things that shows like to do, like get more listeners. It's great. So, if you really like us, though, we have a Patreon page. It's patreon.com/HaplessHeroes, where we have lots of, interesting rewards that I'm constantly updating as I find more things to do. Probably gonna be releasing a blooper reel soon. I know I've teased it a few times, but
Have we mentioned the nudes lately?
yeah,
No, I don't think so. We haven't plugged the nudes in a bit.
yeah. Also, tasteful nudes.
Tasteful
right.
nudes.
It's not actually listed anywhere, but you'll know when you reach that level.
Right.
We'll tell you.
It's
And
an
if you
off-man-
feel as though you've made a Patreon pledge that's worthy of tasteful nudes, let Fran know and he can be the judge.
It's an off-menu
Yeah,
option, like
right,
animal
right,
style.
right.
Right. And even though Zach couldn't be here tonight, he did make sure to leave us a few words before we part. If you really love us, like Sally Fields and the whole deal, you need to break into the CERN Large Hadron Collider facility and create a mini black hole and somehow stick your head through and yell at the vibrating light butterflies on the other side, telling them to listen to the Hapless Heroes podcast.
And there goes the universe.
Then we'll be famous across the multiverse.
Never been done before.
Or we
Who's
would
gonna
somehow
do it
have
for
a
us?
hand in absolutely destroying all of existence. One of the two.
Exactly.
Let's take our chances. So, thank you all once again for listening. My outro our cast. We have tonight James as Stenton Crossbreeze,
We sleep in the basement.
Mike as Murph Eastlaw,
That is correct, and I love to read.
Dave as Frankie Wild.
Just say no to spice. It's an oregano.
Oh my god!
Golden.
That was awesome. That was incredible.
Massimo as Glenn Chubbs Gold Dust.
I am bleeding for my sins.
Jesus, so serious.
Right.
And John playing Basha Ironback.
Stenton, how many times should I apologize?
And I'm Francesco, and I've been your host and DM. Tune in next week when we finish seeing what the hell's going on.
And I finished reading the contract.
Yeah, great.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, bye, bye.